517 to scanner control. 517 to scanner control.
Hey, welcome to the newest episode of the Star Wars Squadrons podcast. We're going to start it off with a This Week in Squadrons. Again, it's been an exciting week, I'd say, in Squadrons. First thing first, we saw the balancing update for March 15th, more server-side balancing, and this is basically, as they said, this is all they have kind of left. We'll get into that comment later from Charlemagne and Backley explaining how their approach is for the next little bit. I'll talk about that later. So, yeah, the big news here with the balancing update is the AXU Y-Wing Anti-Fighter Bomber Interceptor Reaper boost activation cost increased by 60%. This was especially hard on the Y-Wing, I think, which is just life out there is tough for a Y-Wing, it's not easy, and they are making it harder every day, and I get what they're doing. It just seems a little rough there, and it seems like the New Republic's balance has fallen a bit. That'd be my complaint. And they increased squadron mass cooldown from 2028 and decreased the mass duration from 10 seconds to 7 seconds, so I think the mass definitely did need something. It was just too prevalent, so I think that's good they made a change to it. And then the targeting beacons increased the cooldown from 30 to 35 seconds, so the beacon taking 5 seconds longer really does, you notice it. It's very noticeable, more so than the extra time for the beacon. So you do still see mask and beacons out there a lot. It's huge, but there's definitely a change to the meta, and there's definitely more room for some other options. I mean, you see players who are strong in the tractor beam are going to be carrying the tractor beam more. You can see a reason to use resupply again, but of course mask and beacons is still strong, and there's definitely a place for it. The biggest thing though is by making these changes to all the other ships, like I said in my video, my point is now that the Defender is almost kind of buffed because it almost doesn't negate the changes that they made to it before, but it doesn't make them as big as they were because the other ships have taken hits now, and you definitely make a case for some other ships being very strong now because of these ships becoming weak. So hard on the Y-Wing. Even the X-Wing I don't think could have been hit quite as hard. I don't know if the bomber even needed it, but the Empire is definitely coming out stronger on the other side for that reason, and because of the video I've talked about, and it's been up there, I've made videos. This Fenkar video is, in my opinion, pretty bad. But I guess it's not as bad as I thought. I do talk about it with Cheese in this one, and he makes some good points of maybe why it's maybe putting too much emphasis on the problem that it creates. I think in the highest end, it's more concerning. But it's like I say, I think in it that it's just puts the margin of error so much lower for console players. It's just a little rough. So that video is a must watch. Definitely, it's some technique, something to learn about there. It just sucks. Consoles are just kind of at a disadvantage. That's only my struggle when it comes to it. And in regards to Fenkar, see, the reason why they made these changes in the March 15th update is because the time to kill had gotten a little long. PvP had definitely fallen off, and I think this does increase the PvP that we've seen, but it's just simply a little far. So running on the heels of that, Charlemagne had this response: yes, any client updates are out of the question at this point unless the game literally stopped working. Everyone is working on other stuff. The few of us who are still doing balancing passes are doing it on our spare time. Haha. We just want to make sure we get things as good as we can before we're entirely hands off. Ooh. Yeah, entirely hands off. I don't like that part. Okay, so it's a couple things there though too. Everyone is working on other stuff, so they're busy on other stuff, and the few of them who are still doing balance passing are doing it in their spare time. So you gotta thank them for going above and beyond. Their love for this game and their passion to put something into it is amazing. But hands off, that's kind of concerning to be hands off at one point. So hopefully we can get it to a place where hands off works. We love this game. We want it to be the best place it can be. We still have some plans for how we can get things more evenly matched, though. So, they do have more coming. This isn't the end necessarily. There's going to be more balance patches to find it. They have said May 4th was kind of their end for cosmetics and everything planned for that. So I think I could see them kind of going for that hands-off goal kind of by that point. There's some point they're going to be hands-off. So right now they are hands half on, we'll call it, I guess. They got the hands occasionally on anyway. And it's understandable. They're doing it in their spare time. So you have to really appreciate them for doing that. But yeah, that's the reality of it there. Just wanted to make that apparent. Don't need that one. So this week in Squadrons, there hasn't been an update yet. The Gidonian Cup happened, and Cavern Angels were the winners. Congratulations to them on... I don't know if I can show the brackets, though. Does it show the winner? Oh, it does. Yeah, see, Butt Cartel versus Cavern Angels, and they're able to win it. There you go. You can see the whole bracket. Storm whistles. I thought that was space whales for a second. That sounded like. Yeah, just a one-game elimination we see. And then, yeah, Cavern Angels Gold Squad able to take it in the end there. So the Calrissian Cup minor tournament is this weekend. So we should see some very high-level play. And, everything I was talking about at the beginning, we'll see how the New Republic stands. I do think the Empire has the advantage right now. But we will see. So that's exciting. Got 50-some-odd teams entered for this weekend. And then the following weekend, the Operation Ace Open is happening. That is open for registration right now. If you don't know, the Operation Ace, you can sign up for that one. It's through smash.gg. The site is being run, free registration. SCL. Of course, the SCL. We see that it's moving right along, and we've even got it further than this bracket. This is just the one I had available, where Cheese and IG did play, went to the 3 games, and Cheese was able to win it. So it's going to be a rando Gray Squadron Cheese final. And, like I said in the video with Cheese, too, it's kind of of the top 4 teams now, these guys are now Gray, and randos are facing off. You're seeing all these teams at the top. So that's going to be an awesome series. I know they're having a bit of trouble scheduling it, but because everything's so busy with Operation Ace, Cal Cup, SCL playoffs, it's just all kind of going down that. Yeah, it's tough to make it all work, especially with European schedules versus North American schedules. Someone's got to stay up late, be up. It can be tough to figure that all out, but that's going to happen very soon. We'll definitely see posts about that one on Scalp Stream when that one's going to hit. That's very exciting. I'm hyped to see this final and see how this sways maybe the power balance post Cal Cup. We'll see. Maybe there'll be a reaction from the Cal Cup in the finals. Definitely an interesting series to watch, and it could happen before Operation Ace. So it'd be interesting to see this one play out before. Definitely check that out. Let's take a look back at last week's. We could advance the Grand Arena 5v5 Dog Championship ladder. It's in the SWS Grand Arena that's ongoing. And as well, the Squadrons Premier League, the Dogfighting League, has also kicked off now, and there could be games happening all the time. It's basically over 8 weeks. We just not a weekly matchup like in SCL. It's just 8 weeks for us to make our matchups. So we just kind of will be broadcasting them. There's different casters, from Littlest Hammer, Poi Boy, I think myself, and Fencar. A lot of people will be streaming them, so look out for those streams. And did I miss anything else? Oh yeah, I complained a lot this week. I was probably complaining too much. I shouldn't complain much. I don't know. I do enjoy the game, so I hope I'm not coming across too negative. I do enjoy playing it still. It just I feel like there's some console frustration, so I hope I'm not being too negative, because I do want the game to be positive for everybody. So all right, I think that's everything. Now let's get into the intro. This is the Star Wars Squadrons podcast, episode 14. It is March 18th, 2021. I'm your host, Timebomb. Green Fox couldn't make it this week. I'm excited to have on one of the leaders of Gray Squadron, of the Cheese Squadron. We've got the man himself, Cheese. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well here. I was telling you about how I usually run early hours, so this is almost like late night for me right now.
Yeah.
This is like right now it's like 9 EST, but this is like I don't know, midnight for me. I guess I'm gonna translate that way. What does midnight even mean though? Who knows? How late do you if you stay up? Generally, you stay up late. Great to have you on here, buddy. Also, congratulations. You guys are Gray Squadron. She's in the SCL finals here too.
Yep. Thank you.
Very exciting to see that. You got matchup with Randalorians. That's pretty exciting to see. I think here's my thought on that too, because like in the competitive scene, you know, Splinter and Gas have faced off. Gas and Randos have kind of faced off in the finals. Now, you know, you and Randos are faced off. I feel like the top 4 teams are all kind of like battling it out in these different different tournaments. I like to see that.
Yeah, it's been real interesting. So,
yeah, that was the thing too. In the the last Cal Cup, Orange Squadron did match up against you guys, and you guys you destroyed us. Like I knew you guys were good, but because we played different hours, I didn't realize how good you guys were, and I just instantly was like, wow, you guys are on the level, I think, of these other top teams. These other top, I put you guys in the top 4. How long have you guys as a group been playing together?
Oh man, let's see. I guess I think we've been playing together since early November or late October. So pretty much since the game came out.
Yeah.
So,
and did your squadron specifically start the whole Discord? How did the Gray Discord begin?
Yeah, so Gray Discord, Gray Squad got formed up by our, commander, Scum. So Scum kind of plays a lot of these, flight sim games. So, he played PlanetSide 2, and he ran an org there. And so when Squadrons was coming out, I think probably a month before Squadrons came out, Scum made the Discord for Gray Squad to build up a community around the game before it came out. So that's kind of how we started out, I guess is the right way to say it.
So Scum had the vision. Did he see it being as big as it is?
I think Scum likes to do this for games that he plays. So for PlanetSide 2, he had done the same thing. He has an org that he runs out of PlanetSide 2 with a lot of people that still play that game. That's just kind of what he does, his prerogative. He's very proactive about that kind of stuff, I guess would be the best way to say it.
And you know what, actually, it's very smart. I think it's a good way to do it because, there's games going out of Gray Squadron, all the time. I'm sure most people who are listening probably know Gray Squadron, but if they don't, and maybe they're new to the game, Gray Squadron, I would say, is the biggest Star Wars Squadrons Discord of active pilots, playing fleet battles every day. You can pretty much jump in, and there's different squadrons forming. How many different squadrons do you think there are out of Gray?
So, I could see them. We have 15, I think, crews now that play together. Mm-hmm. Whether that's competitive teams or casual teams that are just there to play together. Like, have somebody to play with all the time. Or, we have, I think, 2 dogfighting teams now. So that's kind of like, everybody wants to, if you're like an EU player and you want somebody to play with, like there's a Gray Squad team for that. If you were West Coast, play late nights, there's a team for that. If you don't want to play competitive, you just want some people to chill with every night, there's groups for that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, I remember, like I was telling you earlier in the game, I kind of started in the Star Wars Squadron Discord, and then, there wasn't as many people there, and very quickly, within, I think, the first 2 weeks of the game, the Gray Squadron Discord, you could clearly see, so many people were playing out of there, there's so much, I met so many people playing out of the Gray Squadron, people that I play with still to this day, have been involved in the game since the beginning. It's so cool. I think that it's kind of grown and continued to be so active with all these teams. You guys do any training events for new players too?
Kind of. So we used to. We used to have a program led up by Chili Buttons, which was a Squadrons 101 program that we had. So it was like a 4-week course for newer players to get better at the game. But Chili's been really busy with real life, so we haven't done that as much. And then outside of that, we have like a quick start guide for new members to Gray. So talking about the game and how Gray Squad as an org works to just get them, their toes a little wet. And then, obviously Gray Squad is, if you have questions, people will answer your questions.
Yeah, I like to just stop into, there's like in the general, there's usually a good chat just kind of going all day too, pretty much.
Yep, there's always something going on in general chat.
So how did you then get involved with Gray Squadron? Scum was starting it out. How did you end up in Gray Squadron?
Yeah, so Squadrons comes out like, I think it was like the 1st of October or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, some of my real life friends. So my real best friend, my little brother, his little brother, one of our other really good friends. We were 5-stacking and playing Squadrons like, for the first week, 2 weeks together. And then, we stopped playing as much. But one night we get on and we match up against one of the older crews coming out of Gray Squad. And I was like, I know these guys. I've seen them on the Reddit, and after we lost to them, because we lost to them, my friends and I aren't that good.
Mm-hmm.
I went and looked for their Discord like the next day, and I was like, all right, I'm going to join this Discord. I'm going to play a lot more Squadrons. I'm going to get good at this game. And that's how I joined.
Mm-hmm. Had you played any flight sims in the past?
Nope. Squadrons is my first flight sim.
Oh wow! So how did you start playing it? Or were you on console or PC?
Yep. So I started on PC and I played mouse and keyboard for, I think, the first 2 months of the game.
Okay.
Yep.
So sorry. How much flight sims had you played in the past? You said none.
Zero.
I've
never played a flight
So you
sim
just
before.
So you just jumped in right on mouse and keyboard because you were more familiar playing mouse and keyboard, right?
I think it's like the only option that I had.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't have a controller, for sure. Yeah, you got your own option.
I mean, I tried out the controller. I didn't enjoy it. So I think, I still think mouse and keyboard is one of the best control schemes for the game. I just don't play it.
So then after 6 weeks, then you switched?
Yeah, so I ordered a stick probably early November, maybe mid-November, about 3 or 4 weeks later. I got my stick in, so I play HOCAS now, so stick and keyboard.
And how did you find that switch? Like how difficult or easy was it going from mouse and keyboard to keyboard and stick?
It was rough.
Yeah,
I think for the first month I was getting hard carried by the rest of Team Cheese in any of our games. I wanted to so badly. Every single time that I would play and just play poorly, I wanted to pick up that mouse and go back to mouse and keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
But I forced myself to learn stick, and after about a month, I started finally thinking that I was able to keep up with my gameplay on mouse.
Oh, that's good. Well, what did you think was the biggest difference between mouse and stick, or what was it that was the hurdle to get over to get better or to adapt?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is just the different types of aiming. Mouse, I think, is a much better solution if you're trying to do really good snap shooting or really consistent aiming in general for Squadrons. I don't think stick aim is better than mouse, but I think the stick allows you to have a lot more buttons at your usage and whatnot, so you can be a lot quicker and offload some of the work that you have to have on your keyboard hand to your stick hand.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of something that's bugging me a little bit on console. That I thought you could. I just assumed on an Xbox you could hook up a mouse and keyboard to like any game and just play it that way, but you can't actually. It needs in-game support as well.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
That's interesting.
Isn't that weird? Doesn't that blow your mind a little bit? Blew my mind.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm like, oh, what? Oh, okay. I mean, I've got people say that to me, like, just hook up a mouse and keyboard. Why don't you? And I was like, yeah, why don't I? I'm gonna do it. And then I tried, and you can't. So that's why I guess. And and HOTAS are like impossible to come by now for the console. So I'm kind of limited. I'm like, damn, I guess I gotta just like buy a PC if I want to like at a certain point. This game with the stuff coming out more and more. It seems like that stuff coming out, meaning the stuff like the multi-drift. Yeah, like the optimal power management, let's say, with that stuff coming out, and you see it more and more. I'm wondering if playing on PC is just like inevitable to really play the game at the highest level.
I mean, PC is the master race,
yeah.
So I will always support that.
Yeah, what's up? I'm just fighting that good fight on that console path. Really showing my age for just playing console and controller.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens in that regard. So, Gray Squadron, then you guys started playing together, and did you start playing, you said after a month or so you're starting to feel competitive, and how did you guys come along as a team? Like, how competitive were you guys overall as a team in December? I guess there wasn't as many places to play, but just generally in fleet battles overall.
Yeah, so, I think Gray Squad works a little bit different than a lot of other organizations in that our teams aren't formed because they're the best players. It's because people that want to play with each other is how teams are formed. And so when the initial 4 of Gray Squad was formed, so that's D-Strick, Rinky, Arias, and I, we had been literally just playing pickups. There's an LFG channel on Gray Squad, so if you're using LFG, we're playing, I think, 2 nights in a row for 5-6 hours. And then Arias is like, hey, like, I've been playing with this other guy named Rinky. I think the 4 of us should make a team. And this was to me and D-Strick. And so we're like, okay, let's do it. And so we talked to, at the time I wasn't a captain, obviously. I'm still very fresh into Gray Squad. So we talked to a captain. We're like, hey, we want to start a team up. It's us 4, and then we need to find a support. And so we did a little bit of tryouts. We'd played with Pseudo a lot previously before the team formed. And so after we had formed the team, we had played some other supports. So Akarp and Juder, who play for Team Nova now, we both tried them out at support for us. Obviously, they don't play support anymore, but we tried them out at support for us. And then, we decided that Pseudo was the best option of all of them. And so we moved forward with Pseudo as our 5th member.
And you guys have just been pretty much together since then?
Yep. Yeah, we haven't really deviated from that.
And what role have you been playing? Because I know when we played you recently, you were doing, AI farm and objective. What have you been playing this year? How's it been for you as you've been going along learning?
Ever since I've been playing with Arias, I've been hard objective.
Yeah.
So I'm always on objectives.
Oh man, I remember too. One of our interceptors, Phoenix, when we were playing against you, who's like, I'm on him right now, like I'm peeling him off, but he's still AI farming as I'm peeling him off. Like, do you have any advice for people on how to continue doing the AI farm while being evasive? Is it just throwing out the multi-locks, or how do you? I
mean, it's a matter of getting your locks off and using your hull as a resource. I don't need to dock until I'm at 1%. I don't need to do anything until I'm 1%. It's only when I go to 0 is the problem.
Yeah, seriously. So I mean, on the Empire though, still you got that extra hull. You're using it to its fullest. What's been your favorite ship this year?
Ooh, easy answer. TIE Defender.
Oh yeah. So are you still playing it on objective a lot?
I guess we'll find out this weekend, right?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, we were kind of talking about it a little bit earlier, and it does seem like the Defender is going to be back a bit. We'll see how it goes. It's interesting how quickly Motive has been dropping these patches like before tournaments. Like, you know what I mean? They're doing it oftentimes, giving us a little run. But I like that too, I guess. So Gray Squad, did you guys do a lot of in-house scrims too, with the difference that you have 15 competitive teams?
I wouldn't say that there's a lot of in-house stuff. Mostly because, like I said earlier, a lot of our teams are built around different playing hours. So I think we have we have an EU team, we have a West Coast team, we have Team Nova, but Team Nova scrims before we do. So Team Nova usually plays from 8 to 10 Eastern, and we play from 10 to 12 Eastern because we have a West Coast player on our team. And then, Tempest plays around the same time as us. So we've played against Tempest before. I think actually Tempest and the Hellborgs were scrimming earlier today. Probably a little bit right before this conversation that we're having now.
But I was going to also say too, the Gravy Nights that started sort of the drafts, the pickup draft nights kind of started. How did those begin? Yeah,
so we can go back a couple months. So before even private matches came out, so there was a lot of flights that we'd have flying out of Gray. And so, we'd have a bunch of pickup groups, and let's say 2 pickup groups would form together. So we would call it a gravy game. So Gravy Gray game. So gravy game. And so usually during those, it'd get announced in general chat, and then people would start streaming their POV of it. And, people that weren't even playing the game at the time would just stream into these channels just to watch the game.
Yeah.
Right. And so there was always this concept of wanting to do that once private matches came out. And obviously we didn't know what private matches were ever going to come out. And then once they did, we started organizing Gravy Draft Nights. So I thought about it.
Feels like a million years ago when there was no private matches. It's hard.
Right.
It's hard to believe. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so before private matches came out, we were talking about it. I was like, dude, if they ever come out with private matches, we should do a draft night kind of thing, or like a team fight night, a gray fight night kind of thing. And so eventually, the private matches came out, so we started doing gravy draft nights. I think probably a month after they came out, just because I was being lazy and didn't want to run it yet. But yeah, they've been a blast ever since. I think a lot of people that join Gray really enjoy them, so it's been really good to provide that to our community.
And just people come out, and then you'll have like whatever a certain amount of captains for the number of players there are, and then they'll just draft the players in the pool available.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, and we try to limit how many of X player on a team. So like if all of Team Cheese shows up, we don't want all of Team Cheese on one team, or like multiple members of our group on one team. So that's not the point. The point of it is to meet new people in our community and get to know other people. So there's that kind of aspect to it. And then also, when you're picking your teams out, you want to be able to have like some lieutenants or like, flight officers or cadets. You're trying to introduce these cadets to the community. The cadets are always prioritized to be able to play in these games.
That's a good thing. Actually, we should maybe explain about Gray Squadron too. There is kind of the different ranking system as people are in it longer, right? Like from cadet to officer. You could explain that a little bit. Yeah,
so cadets are new people that join Gray Squad. That want to be a part of Gray Squad. We have roles for people that join that aren't part of Gray Squad, so we have guest roles. But cadets are for new people that are joining the community that want to be part of Gray Squad. And then flight officer is the next role up. Once you've played with a lieutenant or a higher, and you seem to be a good fit for Gray Squad, and we think you can communicate and not be a sourpuss, we will promote you to FO, which will then let you claim a number in the org. And then from there, if you move into like upper leadership kind of stuff, we have lieutenants and captains that help manage the community. So like our moderator staffs, and then as well as like organizing and taking care of any housework that needs to be, Discord channels be created, teams being created, roles being assigned, those kinds of things.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I really like the draft. I mean, I was thinking of doing something sort of like another Orange Invitational where we maybe did like a draft sort of thing, but I feel like you just nailed it way better with that format, and it just involves people, it's way more open, I feel like, the way that you're doing it. I was like, oh yeah, it's totally not necessary for us to do something like that, I don't think, anyway. And
I think there is some merit in other orgs trying to do it. I think the biggest thing is you need to be able to get people to show up. I mean, the first night I did it, right, I was like, oh, I hope at least 10 people show up, right? Because I had no idea how many people were going to come. I mean, that's the truth of it. And then 30 people came.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, like, it was like, oh, sweet. Now we can, like, this is actually going to work. This is, like, something that we can keep doing.
And yeah, it's the other thing where it's like, oh, there's too many people. It's like, might not work out. For like, someone's got to sit. That's too bad. You got to work them in. Right. Yeah, those are good problems to have almost, though, too, when you have an overwhelming interest in something like that.
Right.
So, how do you feel about the place of the meta right now in the game overall? I feel like, this week the balance, New Republic seemed to have taken a hit.
Yeah, so I'm, overall I'm pretty happy. I think, there's a lot of dissenting voices that were unhappy with the meta before this patch where, PK wasn't that big of a deal. And, you had some of the high-level teams that said, PK does matter, just, who you kill. And I think the current status of the game has really moved more towards the PK level. So there's a lot more kills. You're averaging 15, 25 kills a game, where before it was like sub, 10. So I think that's good. I think the game currently still has a little bit of issues balance-wise. I think TIE Defenders, because it didn't get nerfed this most recent patch, it's way too strong. And I think the Y-Wing and B-Wing definitely need a big helping hand for the B-Wing.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, they don't want to, the X-Wing does a lot, so they don't want to give them too much strength there, I guess. But, like, it just seems ridiculous with the Y-Wing especially. Like, it just seems cruel to me.
Yeah, the Y-Wing's in a really bad state. And I get why they don't want to overbuff the B-Wing, because the second you overbuff the B-Wing, it becomes really disgusting real fast. And you can test that out yourself. If you bump the fucking HP or shields on the B-Wing up, it starts getting stupid in custom games.
I think the speed, like, that's why I think they just need to adjust the speed, and I don't know, like, what the threshold is there, but I think maybe if they just gave it so that if you like, so if you give it a bit more speed, maybe it would have like a really high skill level to pilot. You know, something in that area where it's not easy to fly.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know. You don't
I don't
know.
There's a reason why I'm not a game developer.
Yeah,
leave it to those guys to figure out how to,
I shouldn't
make
say.
it better.
You're right. I'm the same way. I'm just gonna be like, this vaguely needs to happen. Do this. Yeah. The Y-wing, I think, I feel the same way. It's just, I mean, that's why it was like a little too far. Like I said, why'd you have to do it to everything? It was just like scorched earth across everything except the Defender and B-wing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, not nerfing the B-wing, I think, is the good move. I think not nerfing the Defender was, you know, a small point that they might have missed.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know wonder what we'll see in the future. I know it's limited on, you know, what tweaks they can do, but I do think that in the coming weeks we are going to see some changes. I think that the balance is fallen a little too far for the Empire, though. I wonder if I think it's going to take a lot to get some upsets in these upcoming tournaments.
I agree. I think at the top level, like you said on your video the other night, those S tier teams, they're just going to trade blows on Empire. The teams that can win on New Republic, like, yeah, they'll win the tournament, but I don't see any strategies so far that have led me to believe that teams will be able to win on New Republic versus Empire right now.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to take something wild. I'm sure people are going to cook something up, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. It's pretty tight between these two tournaments as well, the scheduling here. So, I mean, just having all these patch changes, I mean, I'm sure people had ideas and then it changed. I remember the last tournament, I thought we were going to see a lot more Defender leading up to it, but then, of course, they kind of nerfed the Defender right before it, so then it really kind of, we didn't see that Defender. We saw a lot of Interceptors. I think there's still a place for the Interceptor in these tournaments, too.
Yeah, I think so. I think, Scalp will say the Interceptor is great. I think the tie-int is great. He'll say the A-Wing is still really good.
Yeah.
I think the A-Wing has gotten hit by the nerf hammer a little too many times.
And this is the other thing, too, which is really tough for the developers, like how they have to make these changes. Like, it's one thing on the highest competitive level you're making the changes in what the A-Wing is, but they're also thinking about the A-Wing on, like, the mid-tier and low levels, and I guess they're seeing strength there, so that's why it is tough for them. Like, how are they supposed to balance out those two demographics?
I mean, I know how I would do it, but I'm not sure I'm always right, so I'm not going to claim that.
And I don't know if you've seen this too. Another thing that I've noticed in the last little bit is a rise of a PK TIE bomber. It's interesting to see that throwback because we all kind of forgot about it a little. Well, I mean, you know, obviously in in October, maybe November, so before they nerfed that TIE bomber, it was the do-it-all ship basically.
Yeah, I think we only stopped doing it on Team Cheese once they nerfed the assault shield and rotary to also dampen your maneuverability.
That's right, yeah, because at first they just cut the haul, and then people were like, yeah, no, we'll still use it. It's
still good, yeah.
Still has the most haul, but
right.
Then yeah, when they did that with the assault shield, I forgot how smooth the assault shield used to be. Actually, until you said that, I remember the rotary, the wind up time they changed, and the movement. I think when you had it firing, I believe, has changed.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Which, I mean, it's actually, I mean, I don't even think about it now, but yeah, it used to be just like, you're just like, there's this turret flying all over the place, killing things.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and so the resurgence of it, so I think there are two big pushers of it that I've seen a lot of people mention are, Chua, who flies out of Team Tempest, and then Mindfet, who flies out of the Hellporgs.
Definitely. I think there's two of the biggest right there. And
yeah,
I mean, Chua, he does some high damage. Chua doesn't, and Mindfet more just focuses on the kill. It's very interesting, but Chua, he'll get those picks too. It's very interesting to see those two styles rise.
Yeah, so what do I think about it? I think the TIE Bomber, I don't want to say anything. I think the TIE Bomber is really strong. And not just in the way that they are playing it.
Mm-hmm. And The funny thing is, though, maybe it's because the PK game has fallen away. Maybe we'll see it more in this tournament, but it's just funny. I think it's a little bit funny. There isn't more people kind of playing it that way. I guess maybe the game is objective heavy, obviously, but as the PK comes back, I think you could see it more. And I mean, they destroy the A-wing so hard. I think that's incredible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think I have like a skewed POV of it because we don't play A-wings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the thing is, if they nerf the defender very hard, you might start seeing all bombers on Empire.
That's what I thought was going to happen at the Cal Cup meet. We were kind of talking about, like, we had a plan for if that happened anyway, too. That's what we thought was more like. We didn't see that. We saw more interceptors than we did extra bombers there. But yeah, I at some point it could, if they nerf the defender, that would be very interesting to see.
Yep, I think that is the next progression. Because bombers can PK just fine. They don't have any deficiencies. They can 180 on you real quick, and they can rotary you down in nothing. So,
and I think okay, so this is the other thing I think too, because now we're just like imagine the U of November playing the U of right now. Just think about how much better you are, how much your understanding of the game and the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
I think people kind of got away from that bomber then, because they weren't as skilled as now. They have all the tools now, I think, to really make the bomber work. So I think we could definitely see a rise of the bomber in the next little bit.
Right, yeah. I think, back then as well, once they nerfed the bomber, that was also the meta of the 100 damage rockets, which was really popular.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the rocket resupply meta following the bomber nerf.
Yeah, and I kind of hated the game in November a little bit. Just thinking back right now, that was my least favorite time of the game for sure. The lowest point.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think bombers will see a resurgence. I don't think that they will see a resurgence at Cal Cup and at Op Ace.
I think it's maybe Op Ace if someone's, I don't know, if they really are working on something now, maybe. But yeah, I think for this Cal Cup, probably not quite yet. Maybe someone's got it in their back pocket, but I think there's just other options that are just as strong.
I mean, maybe Tempest. Tempest has been running 3 bomber setups for a while now because of Chua. So that's definitely something that could happen.
So what do you see the future for the Gray Squadron? Do you think there's going to be an influx of people with it on Game Pass here? Do you think there could be a build-up?
So I'll be honest. I'll be super frank here. I don't think so.
No, that's fair. I've heard this as well.
So I think with EA Game Pass, a lot of the community is like, ooh, like, try to get these people in, blah, blah, blah. These people will build on the community. And I personally think that that's a fallacy. If these people wanted to play Squadrons and be a part of this community, they would have already been part of this community. Just because it's on Game Pass means they're going to play it, for a week, a month, and then they're going to drop it and move on to the next game. I don't think you're going to get very much retention from the game going on EA Game Pass.
I think you're right. I think, though, if it's, if you think about it, if it's 1.1 million people who bought this game at launch or whatever in the first month, like, there was terrible retention from the start anyway. Then really, right? Like, I mean, we got to be honest. It wasn't great. And I think there was a lot of early hurdles, unfortunately. Problems with VR. It was a big VR draw. There was problems with the rank. There was problems with something else, too. So there's just issues off the start. I think with HOTAS support as well. So just people had problems. But the people who stuck with it really, really, really wanted to play this game. That's for sure.
Right. And I don't think you're going to get that out of people that are on Game Pass.
No, I think you're right. You make a good point. There's not going to be as many. It's not going to be 1.1 million people, but that's for sure. It's not that many people, and I think it's going to be a really small percentage that stays. But I'll take that really small percentage that does stay. You know what I mean?
That's totally fair.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a lot of console people though too. I would think.
Yep. They did just announce. I think Microsoft is pushing Game Pass to PC. So, PC players. Options. Yeah, so PC players, if they have Game Pass, could totally play Squadrons on PC. I just don't see that as, a growth for the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I could see just to your point as well, if someone's got they have Game Pass, they have many games, and this is just one of the games they're going to try within that, I guess, too.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see. I'm pretty excited to see how you guys do in the SCL. You got Operation Ace, and of course the Cal Cup Major. Good luck to you guys in it.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you got any shout outs you'd like to give? Maybe anyone else in Gray Squadron you want to shout out, or I know you stream a bit too. Definitely let us know that.
Yeah, so shout out to Gray Squad. We're not tier 3 in Discord anymore, so we don't have our special discord.gg link, but there's a million different ways to get it out on the internet. And then I guess I stream Squadrons like really intermittently at cheese_TV. If you want to watch me, you can. Otherwise, you can go watch one of the other bigger streamers, which is totally cool too.
We'll put a link down below for your Twitch.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot for doing the podcast and telling us about Gray Squadron. And yeah, again, good luck to you guys in all the tournaments and in the SCL finals moving forward.
Thank you, man. Same to you this weekend.
Oh, thanks a lot, buddy. All right, and we will catch everyone else on the Star Wars Squadron podcast next time.